Hey everybody, this is Eric Cook. I'm with WSI Internet Consulting, and as a recovering banker of 15 years, I am always on the lookout for companies that can help my banking clients stand out, be more creative, be more competitive, and save money. And I am very excited to bring this webinar to you today and feature my friend Joel Abramson from Complete Data Products Incorporated to talk about a cool new service that I just learned about a month ago on their secure text message receipts that can be offered at the teller line to either completely replace the traditional printed receipts that we're all familiar with, and chances are if you look at the trash can by the door that is nearest to the exit of your bank lobby, you'll probably find a lot of them in there because people get the receipt, they look at it, and they go ahead and pitch it. Maybe they don't need it or keep it, so it's an unnecessary expense. But without something else to kind of replace that, everybody just continues to offer text receipts. And I think a lot of people on the line have experienced an Apple store or other type of electronic store environment where they pull up the iPad and they're like, would you like your receipt emailed or texted to you? And so paper is becoming a thing of the past, and we now are able to do that actually in the bank. And as you will see here, doesn't matter what core you're on, doesn't matter what teller processing system you're using, this has the ability to be implemented in your institution and create something cool for your customers and maybe save you a little money along the way. So Joel, with that introduction, hopefully I did you at least some justice. Welcome to the webinar today. Thanks for taking some time out and showing folks what you guys have created.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having me today. So I'm a director with a company called Complete Data Products, as Eric said. Just a little background. We've been in the banking vertical for about 30 years now. So we have banks all over the country, and what we specialize in is pretty much now, new, and next technologies. So a couple of the technologies that we're going to be talking about today, number one is, of course, text receipts. But to build on the text receipt, we're going to start with email receipts. Both products are pretty similar in terms of they're both core agnostic, which means that, as Eric said, it will work with any core. We basically intercept the print job. And the demo itself, and what I'm going to kind of go over, is from what you're going to see basically on the teller side or the bank side, as well as the customer side for both solutions. These solutions, as Eric said, trying to bring you innovative technology, but also easy to install, very turnkey, very affordable, and core agnostic, works on all core platforms. So just a little overview. When you go into the bank, it used to be, hey, would you like a printed receipt? Well, now you have the option of not only getting a printed receipt, but you also have the option of getting an email receipt, or now you can get a text receipt. And why is it innovative? Why is Eric attracted to this? Why do we want to bring it to you? Number one is the email receipt that we rolled out about 1.5 years ago. It's the only encrypted email receipt out there. And of course, you'll have an option of not having the email receipt encrypted, but it puts an extra layer of security from anything that's out there at the branch level. And when I say branch, this will relate to text receipts as well. I mean the teller, a workstation, call center. So a lot of people overlook the call center factor there. So just to start the demo right here, and we'll be kind of walking you through step by step. We're going to be first
Joel, while you're going through the demo, hey, hold on just a quick second. I just realized I forgot one important element as I normally do my introductions on my webinars. I want to make sure everybody knows this is being recorded, and I'm going to make the replay available out on my YouTube channel, so I'll send everybody that registered for today's session a link so that you can have access to it. If there's somebody else in the organization that you'd like to show this to, you'll have that ability. And then also, during today's session, if you have a question that comes up, please use the chat feature, which is in your control panel, probably located in the upper right-hand corner of your computer screen. And if you have something that you'd like to ask Joel or get clarification on, type it in there, and then I will make sure that we can either ask it while we're at that point in the presentation, or we can certainly make sure we catch all of those at the end. So I neglected to say that, so my apologies, but there you go. Now I've finished my homework, so now you can continue.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric. What we're looking at right now is we're looking at a home screen. This is what the teller would look at, a call center, a workstation within the bank. So if you see right here, we pull some of the information. You got the name of the customer, you got the account number, we capture the email, we'll capture the phone number, and then if you look on the bottom here, you have an option of clicking print, email, or text. So what you see right here, click view if you want to view the receipt. And then here's a copy of the receipt right here. Take a look, it's got all the information. Like I said, it's core agnostic, so it does pull the information from the core. And then one of the nice features that you have on here is you can do mask on demand. So you can mask email, text receipt, and then you have the option to mask. You can mask at will any of the information on this receipt that's being sent to your customer. If you look right here, you highlight over, click on mask, and then it's all X'd out. Over here, highlight, click on, it's masked, all X'd out. Now keep in mind that feature is also available for text receipts as well. What we're showing you here is you can always update the email. So say your customer changes emails. You click update, you click add, you can update email addresses, as well as I'm going to show you in a second, you'll actually be able to add email addresses as well. So say you have co-borrowers, you can put another email address on there. One of the things that we see out there on the banking side of things is it's also a way to collect email and phone numbers from your customers in case you want to market. And I've also seen on the phone number side of things with the implementation of online banking coming across, it's a nice feature to have to go hand in hand with the text receipts. So we add, and as we go on to showing the feature, say you want to add an additional email or additional client. This will be the co-borrower. You put their email on there as well, paste, and you can always put the phone number on there if you want for a text receipt. Click Save. It's automatically saved in the system. And then keep in mind, say I have a borrower and a co-borrower, you can always change who you want to send the email to. And then after that, you click Email. Email is created. You click OK. It's that easy. So that's everything from the teller side or from inside the bank. Now what we're going to look at is what happens for me as a receiver, as a customer. What will happen is I'll get an email, a secure email on the email.
Question. Hey,
yeah.
Joel. Yep. Let me just hit pause. We got a question as we're talking about this specific section, and this is not going to be an unfamiliar question because I asked the same thing when I saw this demo the first time. But we've got somebody asking: Is it possible to mask certain information by default, just as part of the template? You always want a certain portion masked, maybe the first 6 numbers of the account number, so you're only showing the last 3, or Social Security numbers, or any of that stuff. Setting that up as default.
That's a good question. I think the answer that I gave you last time was yes, we can.
It is. Yeah, I just wanted to, and I did respond back to the chat question, but I thought it was important to mention that, that's all customizable at the institution level, if I'm not mistaken.
It's customizable, and not only that, keep in mind the mask feature, it's optional. So you can mask as you want. And number 2 is, we're talking about encrypted email receipts right now. You can always have the option of just sending the receipt. If you feel that the information on there is not sensitive information, or you block out some of the numbers or mask, then you do not have to have it encrypted. You can just send a regular email receipt. What I'm going to show you from here from the customer side is how do they access the secure email receipt. And keep in mind, it's very user-friendly. It doesn't matter what the age bracket, the demographic. We've been doing this for quite a while. So what will happen from here is I, as the customer, will get an email. Then from there, I'll get notification that I have to open the message. What this right here is, this is a branded portal. We can always brand the portal based on your bank. This is the Complete Data Products branded portal. The first time, your customer will have to put in their email address and a password, and then it's set after that. So what happens is they put their password in after the email. They re-enter the password. Keep in mind it's the first time. They only have to do it one time. They click register. Click on the transaction, PDF, open it up, and there's a copy of the receipt, decrypted. So it is secure all the way through the transmission. It's an encrypted receipt. Your customer will go to the branded portal, that could be your bank's branded portal, and they'll have the ability to obtain the receipt. You can see the masking that was done on here that we did earlier. So it's pretty easy. Now what we're going to talk about next is text receipts. So we already talked about email receipts, same thing. So here's a copy of the receipt on the page. Up here, remember we had emails. We can always insert phone numbers as well. You can add phone numbers. Like I said, it's a great way to collect phone numbers and emails, especially the emails for marketing to your customers. You look on the bottom, email receipt, text receipt. You have the two options right there, and you can mask your text receipt as well.
Hey, Joel, we do have another question. When you went to the login, some of our savvy bankers happened to recognize the Zix Mail reference, and the question is, if they already use Zix for encrypted emails within their institution now, are they able to incorporate the same account that they're using and and tie into that as a receipt? And I think I asked you that question as well, and the answer is?
You know, that's actually a great question. I've been offering Zix for about 12, 13 years now. So if you already have Zix and you have the branded portal, it's killing two birds with one stone. Yes, you can use the, so instead of having to purchase a branded portal, your customers could just go to the branded portal that you already have in place for Zix.
Yep. So it's no secret that the Zix delivery mechanism is part of the encrypted process. And I guess I didn't.
And the reason we do
when we were talking about masking account numbers, I guess if it is a encrypted solution, if you don't want to worry about, because you're not sending it through plain text, as long as the customer on the other end is comfortable with having a printout that has their full account number on it. But the only way they're going to get that is through an encrypted email that they're going to have to log in to access. So,
or like I said, there's another option. Some banks do request that we don't encrypt the email receipt, and we can send the email receipt direct, where they'll have the option of masking, which will protect those numbers. Now, in text receipts,
and by doing that, you avoid the Zix Mail, and you no longer have to use a user ID and a password to get logged in. You just get an email that shows up, and it has your info in it, but the information's masked and it's not encrypted. It's just an easy non-login required option to get an email receipt.
Exactly. In this day and age, cybersecurity, target, everything across the board, most banks do request the encrypted receipt, but the option is always there. We want to be flexible.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
So looking at the text receipt, and I'm going to talk about the masking and the security based on the text receipt as well. So, of course, we pull down the phone number. Here's the receipt. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be clicking on text receipt instead of email. And then what will happen is we can always mask. The text receipt will be sent to the smartphone. So click on text based on the phone number. Please wait. Text receipt was sent. So what we're going to do from here, I just showed you the teller side, the call center side. The receipt was sent out. You pull down the number. You can collect the numbers from your online banking wherever you want to. You can add phone numbers. Easy as that. You can mask anything you want. You click text, and the text is sent to the cell phone. Now, it's not encrypted. Encryption is only done on the email receipt side. So what kind of security do we have in place on the text receipt side? And keep in mind, we were talking about innovative at the beginning. Why is this innovative? We talked about how email receipts are innovative because it works with every core and it's encrypted. How are text receipts innovative? Well, this is actually the only text receipt option out there that came out 2 weeks ago by us, and it can be used at the branch level, it can be used from the call center, it can be used from a workstation. So this is it. So with our technology, what you're looking at right now is a cell phone. Say this is my cell phone. So what I need to do is have your cell phone number. The text receipts are connected to the cell phone number and not the device itself. So if you renew your plan on your cell phone, you are only, or say you get a new phone, you upgrade your phone to the iPhone 5 from the iPhone 4. It's only connected to the number and not the phone. So you'll get 2 texts. Texts come immediately. They probably take 5 to 10 seconds to come across. It's an auto-generated PIN, which is not a self-generated PIN. What does that mean? That I don't have to worry about putting 1111, 1234, anything that can be hacked. It's actually generated by us each time. Only have to do it the first time to log in. After that, you can use the same link to keep getting to your text receipts. So here's the first text. The text will tell you exactly what your auto-generated PIN number is. Then your second text comes right after and gives you a link. What I'm going to show you in a second is you take the PIN number the first time, put it to the link, and it'll take you automatically to your text receipt. And here's the process. Clicks on the link, goes to the link, enters the PIN number that appeared in the first text, the 4-digit number. Remember, you only have to do this one time. Click on OK. And from there, there's a copy of the same receipt that you received when you were doing the email receipt. It's not encrypted. You don't have to go to a branded portal. It goes directly to the phone itself. And that's pretty much everything. It's a pretty simple process. We wanted to make sure that it was secure, like the email receipt, because we want to have that line of security. But at the same time, convenient. It's very user-friendly no matter what the demographic is, especially for some of your younger customers, the 18 to 34 millennial-year-old millennials out there.
We've got a question from the audience. We're getting some good ones here, so thanks everybody for chiming in. What's the implementation process like? How do you get this rolled out? What technically, I guess technically is involved in the process?
I will give you more of a, probably since our audience is probably more over, instead of being under the hood, I will give you, keep it KISS, keep it simple, stupid. We don't interact. What we do is we don't have to work with the core on this. It's core agnostic. So what we do is we intercept the print job. So what that means is when I'm dealing with core, I'm dealing with the data processor, instead of it going to the print screen, and instead of going to the thermal printer, being printed out, what we do is we intercept the print job at that point, and then we put it right on the teller screen right there. And so that's how we extract all the information. So we can pull the receipt, and then from there, it all depends on branch. It's based on how many branches that you have. But our team works with you closely. It's a very easy process. About 1 to 2 weeks to have things fully up and running.
Okay. Another question is, well, and I guess just as a point of clarification on that, and what I wanted to get my head around, because I managed the teller line in my banking days and did the data center stuff and all that jazz, is, bare bones is you're just intercepting the print job. You do have the option still to allow that to continue to go to the printer. So if you still want to print, the customer wants the printed version, although I don't know why you would want to even give them the option, but the service, either email or text, can replace or can just supplement and be in addition to a printed receipt. So you're not saying that printed receipts have to go away, but you're just kind of stepping in the middle to give the option for that last printer portion to not have to happen.
No, I mean, that is I keep saying it, it's a great question, because the common question that I get is, if I do a text receipt or I do an email receipt, does that mean I rule out a print receipt or any of the other options? No, you can print them out a receipt, you can text it, you can email, you can do all three. So very multifunctional. And you give them the options. That's kind of like the opening that I do when I talk about this is, would you like an email receipt? Would you like a text receipt? Would you like a print receipt? Pretty common in retail,
yep.
And now I'm back.
Yeah. One of the other questions you and I had when we first kind of chatted about this revolved around how to get the emails and the cell phone numbers into the system. So somebody's asking, what I guess maybe clarify that for everybody, and then also what's the process if a customer has changed their phone number and it needs to get updated in the system. So maybe two parts.
Yep, this is a good question because the fact is we pull information from the core. So the information that we pull on the core will have an email address in there, an email address that's within the core. Now, as you saw when we did the demo, you have the ability from that point going forward to change email addresses or change phone numbers or add phone numbers, add co-borrowers' phone numbers. So one of the options that you had on there was it could just be myself, or it could be myself or my wife, or you could choose which one you want to email or text the receipt to. And then what we do here is we keep the database on that, and then we can kind of update you on everything that was added from there.
Okay. And that's a follow-up question is there the ability, so let's say you change the phone number or the customer goes, oh, no, I'm not there anymore, I switched over to Gmail, here's my new email address. When you enter that information into the text or the email system on your end, does that communicate directly back to the core, or is there more of a manual process to get that information back into the core to update?
You know what? It's more of a manual process from our side. I wouldn't say manual, but it's more of a something that we keep here in CDP that we would give you the updates on that to drop it in.
Okay. So any of the actual change items could be flagged and noted for the bank, and then you can get a change report that says, you know, here are the 5 email addresses that were changed this week, and then you just have to do a little file maintenance to put those into the system.
Exactly. I mean, it's very the technology is innovative and definitely cutting edge on the text receipt since it's first of its kind. But at the same time, it's very user-friendly, convenient, turnkey from both the bank side of things as well as the customer side of things. Because I know myself, being a banker for the first 15 years of my career, is the fact that if I'm going to put a technology in place or I'm going to put a system or something that changes the workflow, I want to make sure that my IT department or any other area is not inundated on calls saying, I don't know how to hit the save button.
Yep.
And we take the time. We not only we do the install and the setup, but we do specific training with you and how to educate your customers as well.
Sure, sure. Well, what I'm envisioning is, you know, let's say a customer's there and says, you know, I've got a new Gmail address. That's going to trigger me as an employee, and that's probably part of the training, just to say, you know, that's no different than somebody coming into the bank and saying, I've got a new address. You can update that address and make sure that the text or the email receipt goes out properly, but then you're also going to want to internally probably flag that or have your staff flag that as a file maintenance request, where you're going to go into the core and go to the CIF and make an update. Because if that doesn't get done, my suspicion is the next time I show up and I want to make a transaction and say email it to me, is that going to have the new Gmail address that I gave you last week, or will it revert back to the one that's on the core system and still needs to be updated?
You know, it all depends on how often you do updates on there. But if you do frequent updates, it should be fine. And what I was showing you on this screen right here from the demo, here's the email, there's the phone number. You click Update Email, and then after that you would click Save. So you wondered how this whole, you click Add. So say we were adding an additional one or we were saving from there. And then you would click Save, and it's automatically in the system from there.
Yeah. I think the question on that was, though, if you don't go, so let's say I'm a Jack Henry user, if I don't go back into my Jack Henry system and update that cell phone number or add that email address, the next time that same customer comes into the bank and wants an email, if Jack Henry still has the old email address, is the text message or the email message system going to have the old email address from Jack Henry if we refresh that list every night? Or will your system maintain that and override what we're getting from the core because your system's probably got the right information? It just needs to be updated.
We got the right information, but you would have to refresh with our system.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? We intercept the core, so we intercept the core going forward. So if you throw me a baseball and I catch it, I'm getting it, but you're the sender. I can't go behind the scenes and send stuff back automatically.
Okay.
Like I have no idea if you came into the bank yesterday and things weren't updated at that point. You know what I'm saying? The core doesn't call me and say, hey, by the way.
Okay.
It's a very easy process.
Yeah, I might be making this a little bit more complicated. Maybe the audience totally gets it, but
no, it's a good question. We should cover every angle on this.
Yeah. So just to try to black and white this, I come into the bank, I've moved over to Gmail, but my old email address is a Hotmail account. I tell the teller to update to Gmail. And she says, okay. So she puts in eric.cookmba@gmail.com, and I get my receipt. She forgets to go onto the Jack Henry system or fill out a file maintenance request, so Jack Henry still thinks I'm at Hotmail. I come in next month, and I do another transaction, and I say, just email that to me, and she pulls it up. Is that email going to show my Gmail account, which she changed in this system but didn't change in Jack Henry? Is it going to show Gmail, or is it going to go, oh, you're at Hotmail, because that's what the core is delivering and says Eric Cook has a Hotmail account because Jack Henry sees me still as Hotmail?
Okay. No, this is, okay. So this is a good point. That's why we're having this conversation here. So what happens is if the software is installed for the text receipts and the email receipts, it's installed on the teller station right there, and you're doing your updates. Even though they're using the Jack Henry core, keep in mind, we're not going back to Jack Henry to update from the processor. We're updating going forward on your system, on the software that we install on your system. So what will happen is Eric will come into the bank 2 weeks ago, Hotmail address. Comes into the bank 2 weeks later, when he had Jack Henry, it was a Hotmail, and then he updates it in the system, which is basically what we're looking at on this screen.
Right.
So when you come in 2 weeks later and now you're Gmail, they will automatically send it to your Gmail account because it's automatically updated. What I was referring to is,
but if I do an inquiry, right. But if you do an inquiry on Jack Henry is going to show an inconsistency, and it's going to still say Hotmail.
That is correct.
Okay. The reason I ask that is I recognize several names in the audience, and I know that we've got some very technical folks, and I'm seeing some of the questions in the way that they're coming in. So I'm suspecting that they're thinking like an IT manager, and so I just wanted to drill down to that because I know these are some techie folks that are with us today.
Okay, what we could always do is, Eric, you and I can go over the questions specifically, and then I can get detailed answers out to the audience out there.
Yep. Cool. Good. Another question is it possible, and I know that it is, but to the extent, to change the actual wording that's being sent out on text messages and email receipts?
And the answer that I told you, I think, a few weeks ago when we talked the answer was no. In terms of you're talking about the receipt itself?
Well, I think there's two parts of that. You know, the wording, one of the things that you and I did talk about was being able to put like a special message notification, or if there's a promotion, you know, hey, don't forget to stop by next week for Customer Appreciation Day with cookies and punch in the lobby, you know, including some sort of an additional marketing message that
and then
accompany this.
It's coming soon on the email side of things for the email receipt. On the text receipt side, it's a little more difficult just based on the new technology, and then of course of the size of the screen that you're dealing with as well. So yes, it is coming soon.
Yeah. Well, and because we have to keep in mind that all we're really doing here is interrupting a print request. We're not really modifying it. We're just grabbing it and giving it the opportunity to go someplace else. So including that additional element of, you know, adding marketing messages or alerts or something else involves a little bit more complexity. So I do remember that. But again, great questions, and it's good since this is being archived.
I think the best way to look at it from I think the best way to look at it from the entire process, if you think about it, number one is, that's right, we're intercepting the print job, so the information that's coming from the core is not being altered. The only thing that we can do is possibly mask it, or we can encrypt it. The details on there. Where we can make the changes going forward, which is something that you alluded to, is in terms of what can be sent out from the teller, the call center, anybody inside the bank. That's where we can update going forward any information that has to do with the email or has to do with the phone number, or you can add additional emails or add additional, like a co-borrower. Now, in terms of the marketing side of things, the reason I brought up how one unintended benefit from the collecting the emails, that a lot of banks out there are excited about the fact that they say, you know what, I never thought about that. That's a way that we can collect contact information from our customers, especially the emails, so that we can market to them. And it's an innocent way of saying, hey, by the way, can we get an update of your email? Now, coming soon, like I said, coming full circle, having the ability to advertise on the receipt is something that we're working on. And in terms of text receipts, Eric, you and I had this conversation. I think everybody out there with a cell phone, when you do get a text receipts are kind of sensitive, or getting text, because text has not been infiltrated with spam and everything else like the emails have. And it's almost like a private communication channel. So when I get a text from somebody that I don't know, or I get solicited on text, I'm more inclined to get offended, as I'll say, how did they get my phone number? So we're taking great care in terms of the privacy factor.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay. These are some great questions. I had a feeling when I saw some of the names out there, I'm like, oh, we're going to get some good ones, because I know you and I kind of went round and around on this, and I really wanted to pick it apart, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's a differentiator that a bank can offer. There's not a lot. They're doing it, like you said, this is the first text message receipt capable system out there, and so you're not going to see the bank down the street doing something like this, and it's something that consumers, I think, are interested in. You know, you made the point about email. That's another element that I didn't even think about, and shame on me for being the digital marketer guy. But as part of that process, when somebody gets their email address put into the system, that could be something that could be trained to say, oh, by the way, now that we have your email address, we put out a great newsletter, or would you mind us, contacting you? That could be just part of that kind of teller script that communicates the message back to the customer. So it's another great point.
Yeah, no, I think it's better that we showed these solutions in terms of having a conversation and showing all sides and playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
The solutions are very sound, very easy, very affordable, turnkey.
Cool. Okay. Well, it looks like, and again, if you've got questions, if there's anything else, I don't want to keep everybody longer than necessary, but I know that we've got a couple of people that are asking, well, how is it priced? What sort of costs are involved? You've mentioned affordable a couple of times, but, maybe speak in ranges, because I know every institution's a little different. And while you're doing that, I'm going to switch over, because I know you've offered up a special promo code that for viewers of this or friends of us, a little bit of a discount. So I'm going to switch screens, and I'll let you kind of address some pricing and structure and contract items.
Okay. In terms of the pricing, it's very easy to do. We base it on branches. So it doesn't matter what your asset size is of your bank. You could be anywhere from a 20 million bank up to a bank that has assets in the billion size. We do all different kinds, and it's based on the number of branches. So the range is, you're looking at, it's based on the year, but you're looking at month to month, probably an average of about $60 per branch per month. And what does that mean? That means on the email receipt side of things, we start at about 75, 80. And the more branches you have, the price goes down. But it's very cost effective whether you're a small asset bank or you're a large asset bank. But that's unlimited email receipts based on the, it's a branch cost. And then in terms on the text receipt side of things, very complementary to the email receipts. A lot of people do them hand in hand because it's kind of the same communication channels. And then, of course, there'll be something around a 2-cent per text receipt charge as well. There's a one-time installation setup and support fee to get everything set up for the first 2 weeks, which is very reasonable as well. And then Eric will be talking about the fact that because you did attend today, and Eric and I know each other pretty well, that if you say Cook, there's an offer code. I can give you a pretty good discount on the setup, install, and support discount. Yeah. So it's very affordable. And then you can scale.
I'll take complete credit for the creativity of that offer code, by the way. I know that's a real creative one.
You did. You did.
At least it's
I think an important thing. I think an important thing to stress too that we didn't talk about, Eric, is the fact that we can do trials as well. This is innovative. So if you're making the jump from print to e-receipts or text receipts, you are changing the workflow. You're changing, and what we usually recommend when you do a trial, a no obligation free trial, usually about 2 weeks, is we tell you to do it on your busiest teller station. Because what will happen is that'll give you kind of a feel of the workflow and how everything works, and then you can scale from there and then add up. So we walk you through step by step, and the bottom line is let's make sure it does satisfy not only your need, but your customer's needs.
Yeah, very cool. Well, good. Well, everybody has information here to get in touch with Joel. You've been invited by me, so hopefully you know how to get in touch with me. If you've got questions and want to come back to me directly, you're more than welcome to do that. But make sure that you mention the offer code Cook, and if you can't remember that, just tell Joel that Eric sent you, and that'll be the same thing. But this way you can get a nice discount on your setup and installation, and kind of ties back the connection and helps him figure out, how he's hearing about or how he's getting heard about from people like yourself. So it looks like the question queue is empty. Again, thanks to everybody that participated today live. I know we kind of blocked out an hour, but I think we've covered it, and I think the services that we've talked about kind of speak for themselves. So I know you showed up expecting to see text messages, and we gave you a little surprise and talked a little about secure email as well. So hopefully you don't mind that one that we kind of snuck in there, but I figured if we can electronify the receipt, eliminate the paper, doesn't really matter how it's happening. It's something that that the bankers that I know would be interested in. So with that, we'll go ahead and conclude the webinar. I'll get everybody a link to the archive, and feel free to check it out and share it with others in your office. And Joel, thanks again for joining us and giving us that demo, and kudos to you for building something really cool to help the banking industry. I think this is a great service, and I'm hoping several folks online today are going to take advantage of it and at least maybe take you up on the offer of the trial just to see if it's something that would potentially work for them. So cool stuff. Thanks, man.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
Good.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.